Hello once again, it's Greg from Bug Out Gear Layouts and Tactics Facebook page and UrbanSafetySurvival.net back with another video for you. We've faced some harrowing situations in the wild, haven't we? Whether it's braving the elements on a rugged mountain trail or navigating through dense forests, the wilderness tests our limits and our resourcefulness. But what happens when the crisis isn't out in the wild but right in the heart of our cities and towns? But surviving in the concrete jungle during a crisis, that's a whole different beast. The urban environment, with its towering buildings and bustling streets, can quickly turn from a place of comfort to a scene of chaos. Imagine the streets you walk every day, suddenly filled with panic and uncertainty. The familiar becomes unfamiliar, and the everyday routines are disrupted. Remember, when disaster strikes, it's our instincts that kick in. The blaring sirens, the rush to safety, the scramble to secure what we need, it all happens in a heartbeat. And the first instinct? To survive. We rush to gather supplies to ensure we have enough to get through the crisis. In times of crisis, certain items become incredibly scarce. The shelves that were once full are now empty, and the things we took for granted are nowhere to be found. These aren't luxury items, but the essentials, the things we often take for granted. Water, food, medical supplies, the basics that sustain us. Things you need to survive. It's not about comfort, it's about necessity. We've seen it time and time again: natural disasters, pandemics, societal unrest, the shelves empty fast. The rush to secure these items can lead to chaos and desperation. So whether you're a seasoned prepper or just starting to think about self-reliance, this video is your ultimate guide to staying ahead of the curve. Knowing what to stock up on can make all the difference. We're about to cover the top 10 items that disappear first in a panic. And trust me, you don't want to be caught without them. From food and water to medical supplies and tools, these are the essentials that will help you navigate through any crisis. Stay tuned, and let's get prepared together. Out in the wild, we rely on fire for warmth and light. It's a simple yet effective way to survive when you're far from civilization. The crackling of the fire, the warmth it provides, and the light it emits are all essential for making it through the night. But what happens when you're not in the wilderness? What if you're in the heart of a bustling city and the power goes out? In an urban crisis, a generator can be your lifeline. It can power your essential appliances, keep your lights on, and ensure that you stay connected to the outside world. Imagine being able to charge your phone, keep your refrigerator running, and even power a heater during a cold night. Sounds like a dream, right? The problem is, a good reliable generator will cost you a pretty penny. These machines are not cheap, and the initial investment can be quite steep. You might find yourself questioning whether it's worth the expense, but that's not the only cost to consider. Generators are also not exactly small or easy to hide. They take up a significant amount of space, and finding a place to store them can be a challenge, especially if you live in a small apartment or a crowded urban area, and moving them around, that's a whole other story. Believe me, during a crisis, a generator will make you a target. People will notice if you have power when they don't, and that can lead to some uncomfortable and potentially dangerous situations. It's not just about having the generator, it's about keeping it safe and secure. Then there's the fuel: gas, propane, or going with solar options. Storing gasoline is risky business, my friends. You need to have a safe place to keep it, and you need to make sure it's stored properly to avoid any accidents. Gasoline is highly flammable, and if not handled correctly, it can pose a serious threat to your safety. Highly flammable, dangerous if not handled properly. You need to be extremely cautious when dealing with gasoline. It's not just about having the fuel, it's about knowing how to store and use it safely. One wrong move, and you could be facing a disaster, and you need a constant supply to keep that generator humming. It's not a one-time purchase. You need to keep buying fuel to keep it running. This means regular trips to the gas station, which can be a hassle, especially during a crisis when fuel might be in short supply. And let's not forget noise. Generators are loud, really loud. The constant hum can be incredibly disruptive, not just to you, but to your neighbors as well. In a crisis, when everyone is on edge, the last thing you want is to draw attention to yourself with a noisy generator, like really loud. Not exactly ideal when you're trying to keep a low profile. The noise can be a dead giveaway that you have power, and that can make you a target. It's something you need to consider carefully. Finally, maintenance. These machines need regular upkeep. You can't just buy a generator and forget about it. You need to make sure it's in good working order, which means regular checks and maintenance. This can be time-consuming, and requires a certain level of technical know-how. Are you prepared to handle that when things get tough? When you're already dealing with a crisis, the last thing you want is to have to worry about maintaining your generator. It's a lot to think about, and it's important to weigh the pros and cons before making a decision. We all know water is life, but in a crisis, clean water can be harder to find than you think. Bottled water disappears first, obviously. That's when people start scrambling for water filters and purifiers. But here's the catch: supply chains are more fragile than ever. Getting your hands on a decent filter might take days, even weeks, and by then, it might be too late. Don't wait for disaster to strike. Get your water filtration system now. There are plenty of options out there: portable filters, gravity systems, even UV purifiers. Let's talk sanitation, shall we? Because when nature calls in a crisis, you need a plan. Trust me, you don't want to be caught digging a hole in the ground when chaos reigns. Portable toilets are a must-have in any emergency kit. But here's the kicker: their price has been steadily climbing. Every month, they get more expensive. Don't wait until it's too late. Grab a portable toilet now, while they're still affordable. And stock up on sanitation supplies. Toilet paper, of course, hand sanitizer, and waste disposal bags. Chapter 4. Seasoned firewood, the long burn, fire. It's more than just warmth and light. It's a primal force that has been with humanity since the dawn of time. From the first spark that early humans created to the modern fireplaces in our homes, fire has always been a crucial part of our lives. It's a symbol of hope, a beacon in the night that promises safety and comfort. When we gather around a fire, we are reminded of our ancestors who did the same, finding solace and strength in its glow. A reminder that even in the darkest of times we can overcome. The flickering flames tell stories of resilience and survival, of communities coming together to face challenges head-on. But here's the thing about firewood: it needs time to season. Just like good things in life, it requires patience and care. You can't rush the process if you want the best results. You can't just chop down a tree and toss it on the fire. Freshly cut wood, also known as green wood, is full of moisture. This moisture needs to evaporate before the wood can burn efficiently. Well, you can, but it won't burn well. Instead of a roaring fire, you'll get a lot of smoke and very little heat. The fire will struggle to stay alive and you'll be left frustrated. Green wood is full of moisture, which means it'll smoke like crazy and produce very little heat. This smoke can be irritating and even harmful if inhaled in large quantities. It's not the kind of fire you want when you're trying to stay warm. Seasoned firewood has been dried and cured, usually for 6 to 12 months. During this time, the moisture content drops significantly, making the wood much more efficient for burning. It burns hotter, cleaner, and longer. A well-seasoned log can provide hours of steady, reliable heat, making it perfect for those cold winter nights or emergency situations. And that, my friends, is what you need in a crisis. Reliable, long-lasting heat that you can count on. So next time you prepare for the colder months, remember the importance of seasoned firewood. It's not just about staying warm, it's about being prepared and resilient in the face of adversity. Chapter 5. Lamp oil, wicks, lamps, let there be light. When the grid goes down, you need a reliable source of light. And no, your smartphone flashlight won't cut it. Not for long, anyway. Lamp oil, wicks, and lamps are old school, but they work. They're also relatively inexpensive and easy to store. Now, here's a pro tip. When it comes to lamp oil, go for clear oil. It burns cleaner and produces less soot. But if you're in a pinch, any type of lamp oil will do. And don't forget extra wicks. They're like the fuel injectors of your lamp. Without them, you're in the dark. Chapter 6. Coleman Fuel, the multi-purpose marvel. Coleman Fuel. It's the gold standard of liquid fuels. Why? Because it's incredibly versatile. You can use it in lanterns, stoves, heaters, even some generators. This stuff is like liquid gold in a crisis, and you can never have too much of it. Store it properly, of course, cool, dry place away from any open flames, and always use caution when handling flammable liquids. Let's be honest, folks. When disaster strikes, the thin veneer of civilization can disappear faster than a startled gazelle. And when that happens, you need to be prepared to protect yourself and your loved ones. I'm not talking about becoming Rambo, but having the means to defend yourself is crucial. Guns, ammunition, pepper spray, knives, clubs, bats, slingshots. These are tools. And like any tool, they can be used for good or evil. It's up to you to use them responsibly and ethically. In a world of electric gadgets, it's easy to forget the simple elegance of hand-powered tools. But when the power goes out, these low-tech wonders become indispensable. Hand can openers, hand egg beaters, whisks. These aren't just kitchen utensils, they're survival tools. A hand can opener can mean the difference between eating and going hungry. A hand egg beater can whip up a quick meal or a comforting dessert. And a whisk? Well, a whisk is just plain handy. Calories equal energy. And energy is what you need to survive. Honey, syrups, and sugars are calorie-dense and shelf-stable. They're also natural preservatives, which is incredibly important when refrigeration is a luxury. Honey in particular is a superfood. It's packed with antioxidants, has antibacterial properties, and can even help soothe a sore throat. These three staples are the foundation of a resilient food supply. They're relatively inexpensive, easy to store, and incredibly versatile. Rice is a blank canvas. You can add just about anything to it to make a meal. Beans are packed with protein and fiber, and wheat can be ground into flour to make bread, tortillas, and other staples. There you have it, folks. The top 10 items that disappear first in a panic. These are the things that can mean the difference between comfort and chaos, between surviving and merely existing. Make sure to stock up on these essential items before it's too late. Don't wait for disaster to strike before you start preparing. Get your house in order now while you still have time. Remember, being prepared isn't about being paranoid. It's about being responsible. It's about taking control of your destiny and ensuring the safety and well-being of yourself and your loved ones. Stay prepared and stay safe. And don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more tips on staying prepared.